We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Oh man. We got some bad news for Teofimo Lopez. We're going to talk about it in this very video right here. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. We got to talk about it. Teofimo Lopez, the contradictions, the misinformation, his next fight, Devin Haney. You know, I'm going to just talk about everything like I do. Now, let's jump right into it. Make sure you guys like the video. And The Athletic has a very telling article. It's pretty much from both sides. You got some stuff from Arum of Top Rank and also Split T management of Teofimo Lopez, and very interesting stuff. So let me try to dig into this so you guys know what's going on. So you see this tweet from Mike Coppinger. It says Lopez's manager, David McWater, told The Athletic, quote, they had between October 18th and February 6th to schedule a big fight for him, meaning Teo, and get out of the purse bid. When they said it's a ish fight or anything like that, they could have made a different fight and chose not to. Uh-oh. So you see, that doesn't sound good already. Uh-oh. Teofimo Lopez was offered his contract minimum for the mandatory title defense versus George Kambosos, $1.25 million per sources, and the stalemate with Top Rank could push Lopez's next fight off ESPN and onto another platform. What is this? So as you guys can tell, there's an impasse, and this doesn't really sound good. Teofimo Lopez's next fight could be off ESPN, but he's a Top Rank fighter, and Top Rank primarily has done business with ESPN. They have an exclusive contract in terms of boxing, right? So it says Lopez, this is just a graphic that was made. Lopez had a title defense minimum, and we more than doubled it. And now suddenly that becomes peanuts. What the hell are we talking about? Bob Arum on Teofimo. Uh-oh. So according to this article, and it's lengthy. You guys got to read the Athletic article to get everything. But according to the article, sources state that Teofimo, his contract minimum before beating Lomachenko was $150,000. It says Teofimo's old minimum for a title fight defense, sources said, was $150,000. If he lost to Lomachenko, it would rise to $500K. A win would bump it up to $1.25 million, the amount being offered for the routine title defense against Kambosos. So this is the problem. Teofimo beat Lomachenko, and he's now all of a sudden gotten kind of big-headed, and he feels he's worth more. And Bob Arum is like, nah, that's not that type of fight. You know, the same Bob Arum. It's not that type of fight. It's not a major, marquee crazy fight for us. We're in a pandemic, yada, yada, yada. Now, this is just getting super messy. I got a lot of things to say. Before I go too far deep into that, this is a bad look. And I think you guys can tell from, what you've already heard. But one of the reasons why this is a terrible look is because there's so many loopholes and inconsistencies. And you've seen very similar situations, primarily with top ranked fighters as of lately. Bob Arum, he's an 88-year-old man. He's cutthroat. He's been in the business. He's had and lost fighters. He operates how he operates. Needless to say, fighters gravitate towards him that are with him, and this is some of the things that happen. Recently, we've heard Keith Thurman. He said Bob Arum was cheap. He's never been signed to Bob Arum, but he gave his opinion. He said that's why all your fighters left you. Floyd Mayweather left, Cotto left, De La Hoya left, Andy Ruiz left, Pacquiao left, yada, yada, yada. He said Terrence Crawford might leave, etc. Mikey Garcia recently did an Instagram live, and he said F Bob Arum, because he didn't care about me and my family. And, I'd fight Crawford, but probably not going through Bob Arum. He'd have to be a free agent or something like me, right? And then now you're seeing this situation. Just before that, before we move on, Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford swears he's, 60-40, 50-50 in favor of himself in the Errol Spence fight. I've made several videos and it looks like Ego Stradamus strikes again. I just keep getting it right on the channel. I told you I didn't feel Terrence Crawford, despite being a very great fighter and a phenomenal fighter, he wasn't in the position of leverage. Your own promoter is throwing you under the bus and saying you're not worth it, basically saying I'm losing money when I host your events. The last 3 fights, I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills. I'm not going to go broke because of this. So it's bringing new credence to what I've said, and also other people like Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman said Bob Arum is frugal and basically cheap. And look at what's happening. Terrence Crawford, he can't seem to catch a break. Terrific fighter, can't get the money he wants. They've stalled him out and said, oh, you're going to get Pacquiao. Then the fight never manifested. Teofimo, look at his last fight with Lomachenko, right? Last fight with Lomachenko, they said it was in jeopardy out of nowhere and nearly fell apart because Teofimo demanded more than, the $1.25 million that was being offered. Then, according to this article, they gave him $100,000 more. So that's all it took for Teofimo Lopez to feel at peace. So he argued for a little bit more, and that's all he got was a little bit more, according to the sources in this article. So instead of $1.25 million for the Lomachenko fight, they said he got $1.35 million. So that's not that big of a bump, but yet and still it was $100K. So I guess he went with it and he beat Lomachenko. Now we're here, and this doesn't look good. They're talking about it could push Teofimo Lopez's next fight off ESPN. So, name a PBC fighter who has to deal with this, where Errol Spence, you're hearing rumors or reports or sources or whatever you want to call it, and it says Errol Spence's next fight might not be on Showtime and it might not be on Fox. It might be pushed off of the 2 networks that PBC has a partnership and a deal with, or whoever, Deontay Wilder or Joey Spencer or whatever, what I'm saying, whoever the person is kind of unheard of. But Bob Arum, I don't know how the pandemic is affecting him, but it looks like he's not pulling out them extra stops, and he doesn't feel like certain fights are worth it, and these guys aren't mega stars like Pacquiao, so he's not really willing to take the risk or the gamble and lose money on a fight with Kambosos. So once again, Ego Stradamus strikes again. I got so much to say, so I'll probably have to break this into multiple videos. But Ego Stradamus definitely strikes again. It shows you the value of a George Kambosos fight, right? There's a whole controversy with the Devin Haney and the Undisputed and who's who. Devin Haney is a better fighter, as I've told you, and just a better fight for Teofimo, and it eliminates the confusion with the whole Undisputed and the whole franchise champion status, right? I told you that was a better fight. It made more sense to make that fight. Teofimo was saying he wanted $10 million for a Devin Haney fight. But now, according to sources in The Athletic, they're saying his minimum is $1.25 million, which leads me to my next point. A bad look for Teofimo Lopez, because according to Teofimo Lopez, he put out information, and this is what's happening to a lot of young fighters, Ryan Garcia and Teofimo particularly. They're utilizing social media. This is, their generation. Tech is heavy, and iPhones and Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all this stuff, right? TikTok, which is great. Use that to your aid. But some fighters that are young, that are conducting business on the internet, or putting their business on the internet, this is where it could work to your detriment and come back to bite you. Because according to this whole article, and this is being performed by The Athletic and sources including Arum and Split T Management, so I'm going to say the information should be reliable, says his minimum is $1.25 million per sources. Why would I doubt this if they're talking to multiple sides of his team between Top Rank founder Bob Arum and his management, Split T and McWater, right? So this is where it comes back to bite young fighters, which is what I told you. Like Ryan Garcia, quickly. Ryan Garcia said all this stuff. Whoom, whoom, whoom. I want to fight Tank next. If he don't fight me next, his legacy is over. It's done. And then now he's saying I can't fight Tank next because I'm going to put him on the back burner to allegedly get a Pacquiao fight. And now we don't even know if the Pacquiao fight's going to happen. Then for Teofimo's case, for his sake, this article is completely rejecting what he said. Teofimo, again, he's kind of feeling himself beyond the Lomachenko. He said, I'm not giving Lomachenko a rematch. So I think Top Rank is kind of looking at him as a headache, like, hey, go to purse bid. Bob Arum has said that. But he's feeling himself from the Lomachenko performance. He's getting on the internet. He's been on the Mike Tyson hot boxing podcast and stuff like that, made a couple appearances and interviews. And this article is refuting what he said. He said he was getting a minimum of $5 million. Boom. Let me just show y'all. Listen, I ain't with the talk. I told you. Ego Stradamus strikes again. Teofimo Lopez, November 24th of last year. It says, and I quote, this is a tweet, $5 million minimum now, and this is only the beginning. Right? $5 million minimum now, and this is only the beginning. Soon I'll shoot for $20 million minimums. Take a lesson out of my book. In order to make big dollars, you have to take risk. So he's gloating, saying his minimum is $5 million, which is a direct contradiction to this whole article that says for the Kambosos fight, they're trying to pay him his minimum, which is $1.25 million. So this is a bad look. And this is why you don't put your numbers and your business out there. If you're getting paid, you get in the bag, you getting cashed out, you drippy, that's great. But this is why you don't put your business out there, because now the information is not consistent. So it makes you look like you're lying or you're a liar or you're deceitful. And if he was getting $5 million, then that means he's getting what Terrence Crawford, who's been out longer, is supposedly getting, roughly for his minimum. So this is just a bad look any way you slice it. They're saying that you want more for the Kambosos fight because allegedly in Australia, the venue can hold 50, 60,000 plus people, and Top Rank being Top Rank and Bob Arum being Bob, the Bob father, he's trying to pay you what your minimum is because he's like, that's what that fight is worth. So this seems to be a recurring issue for Top Rank, especially in this pandemic. The Terrence Crawford mandatory is Sean Porter. Bob Arum did an interview with Barbershop, and he said, yeah, I'll give Sean Porter $1 million. Sean Porter said, no, sirree, Bob. That's not my job. That's not my job. He said, I'll fight Crawford for sure, but I'm not fighting him for $1 million. You could take that and shove it, basically. So this seems to be a recurring issue. While you have Teofimo, he's posting pictures with Young Moolah, Lil Wayne and feeling lit and stuff like that. And all this stuff, all his business is out in the street. He's saying, boom, I'm getting a $5 million minimum now. What? What's up? And it's going to soon to be $20 million. Asking for $10 million for Devin Haney, and then saying that he's the A-side over all lightweights because he took the risk. And, he's bragging. He's saying, take a lesson out of my book. But if we take a lesson out of your book, then it shows that you're not really the A-side at this current point in time. And it shows that there's an inconsistency in the number that you put out to the public. These are just the facts. I'm here to speak the truth. So if two stories from, the same kind of inner circle are in vast different directions, somebody got to be lying. So which one is it? The sources of Teofimo's minimum being 1.25 million, either they're lying or Teofimo's lying when he says $5 million. But either way, I feel, in my opinion, this is a bad look because it just gets messy and it gets sloppy. And I would have to, if I'm taking an educated guess and a betting man, I would have to say the reality of what Teofimo said is incorrect. This seems to be more consistent with Bob Arum's past moves and, offering Sean Porter $1 million for Crawford and offering Danny Garcia $3 million before the pandemic. The fact that Teofimo him and his team had to argue and fight tooth and nail to get more than 1.25 million for a unification with Lomachenko the first time, I would really say that the reality is his minimum is probably not $5 million. So I don't know where Teofimo's getting his information or the numbers, but this is all one of the casualties of social media. You know, it's great for growth and branding and stuff like that, but it could also hurt your brand in the wrong hands or if you misuse it or put out misinformation. I mean, I'm not on my channel. I don't look to put out misinformation. So when I give you my opinion, that's my opinion. I'll let that be known. But these are like reported facts and things that are being stated. Like Teofimo, he's on magazine covers and he's feeling himself. He beat Lomachenko. You did a good thing. I respect that. You know, I even picked him to beat Lomachenko. But the way he's running around saying I'm the A side over everybody, this doesn't look good when you say you're a boss and, you know, put that out there and say, you know, I'm shooting for 20 million next and act like you Floyd Mayweather and you getting the mills on top of mills. And then more information comes out that's not really consistent. Like, why lie? Like, why put out a piece of information that you know not to be true? Or if you think it's true and then this other information comes out and shows that it's not true, then either way, that's not a good look. So this seems to continue to happen, you know, and it kind of sheds light on what I've said, what Floyd Mayweather said, Mikey Garcia said. Bob Arum is telling Teofimo, someone else could buy your fight because I'm not. All I've done is reject their offer, which is the minimum. This is a direct quote from the article. Let me give you guys a little bit more. It says they could have got an exception with the IBF for this fight. When they said it's an ish fight or anything like that, they could have made a different fight and chose not to. Once again, this is Mick Waters, Teofimo's management. So this is a bad look for Teofimo once again. Let me read that again and break this down. They could have, referring to Bob Arum and Top Rank, made an exception with the IBF for this fight, but they chose not to. That's what he's saying. So the fans that said Teofimo can't fight Devin Haney to clear up franchise champion status and who's truly undisputed, they said it's because he had to fight his mandatory. But now his own management, Mick Water, is saying that Top Rank, they could have gotten an exception with the IBF. So now there's really no reason to not have fought Devin Haney. It would be usually unifications or consolidations, Trump mandatory title defenses, right? This is why you don't continually talk unless, you know, everyone's on the same accord. So usually unifications, consolidation fights or whatever, like I've said, will provide an exception, you know, if you request it. But the fans told me when I said that Teofimo and Devin could fight, they said, no, you're wrong. He has to fight Camboso. It's his mandatory. But now you have Teofimo's own manager saying they could have gotten an exception with the IBF for this fight. When they said it was an ish fight or anything like that, they could have made a different fight and chose not to. So there was really no reason to not fight Devin Haney if he's now admitting that they could have got an exception. Let me continue. When they say it's an ish fight, it says we would have liked to have fought somebody else. They never made a good faith order. What am I supposed to do? All I've done is reject their offer, which is the minimum. If you line up 1,000 idiots off the street and say you're going to get a job, do you want minimum wage? All 1,000 will ask for more. Right? So listen, I'm gonna wrap this video up. I'll probably have to break it into parts because this is a really messy situation with a lot of layers. So I don't want to give you guys too much to think about. Check out my other videos. Let me know what you guys think. Very messy situation for Teofimo. You know, inconsistencies. He's saying he getting 5 million, wants 10 for Devin. He's the A side over Gervonta, who's selling out and selling within $1 million live gate revenue of what Canelo sold. But Teofimo believes he's the A side. But then his own promoter is saying, hey, this ain't peanuts that we're offering him. You know, if he don't like it, someone else could buy the fight and go to purse bid. It's the same program. You know, Bob Arum pretty much said the same thing. If you don't like what I offer Sean Porter, Al Heyman could buy it. Someone else can buy it. I'm not losing money. It's the same things kind of being said. Bob Arum has taken a hard stance and he's let his own fighters know, you know, you're not a priority over my business running how I want it to run. So at the end of the day, if you think you have better faith, and Bob Arum told you, Bob Arum, he gangster. Bob Arum said, I get a cut of Teofimo's money regardless. Let somebody else win the purse bid. So it lets you know what type of time it is. Last thing I'll leave you with is what PBC fighter is going through this type of thing, where their own advisor, like Al Heyman, is saying, let Errol Spence go to ESPN or DAZN, wherever. I don't care. I'm still going to get a cut of his money. Let it go to purse bid. Let Errol's fight go to purse bid. You don't really see that. Usually PBC, if anything, they'll try to show the good faith that they're trying to, you know, if Errol has a purse bid, they'll try to figure it out before the purse bid auction. But even if they didn't, they'll try to bid on it and give the at least appearance that they want to win it and have it on their network. Bob Arum telling you what it is. He's saying, I don't care if it's on my network. I'm going to get a cut anyway. I'm not going to go bankrupt over these guys. I'm not going to lose. I could have built houses with the money I'm losing on dues. So, you know, he keeping it gangster, man. Shout out to Bob Arum. Listen, if you don't like it, then that's your fault. You the one, you know, teamed up with him. You know, like, are you going to be more mad at the pimp or the hoe? You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say it like that, but it's like a pimp going to be a pimp. He going to do what he going to do. You know, it's up to other people to educate themselves and know what they signing and whatever else. Holla. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more sports. Get unlimited access to premium content with an ESPN Plus subscription. ESPN Plus offers a variety of content, including specials, behind the scenes, docuseries like Bruce Lee's Be Water, and much more. With an ESPN Plus subscription, you get access to a ton of classic archive fights and replays from boxing and the UFC. Big names like, hi, I'm Mike Tyson, come and watch my fight. Floyd Mayweather, easy work, I'm rich. And Manny Pacquiao, yes, it's up to my promoter, just to name a few. If that's not enough, you could get the ESPN bundle, which includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three apps, one low price. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you guys click that link in the description box of all of my videos. Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.